This is Abyss Lifestacker Lightning Strike of Arcane Deadeye featuring new unique weapon Spinesnatch. There are 3 key items that complete this shell. Spinesnatch is a weapon that has 6 abyssal sockets. Depending on which kind of jewel is socketed in, it gets different bonuses. It's worth mentioning that all of these bonuses bar Minion Impale are local. This means that with max roll attack speed, socketing 6 to 39 jewels will more than double weapons based attack speed, making it the fastest weapon of the game. Shroud the Lightless is a no-brainer when it comes to Abyss jewel stacking. It provides a solid bonus to max life, which in turn enables life stacking as well as a ton of elemental pen. When we stack so many Abyss jewels, overlooking Light Poacher is a big mistake. On killing them all, we gain a Spirit Charge up to the number of Abyss jewels affecting us. Each Spirit Charge provides 5% of physical damage as extra damage of each element. I have 21 Abyss jewels, which means that 21 Spirit Charges provide a total of 315 of Fizz as extra ally, spread evenly between fire, cold and lightning. The downside is that we release one soul on every skill use. To perfectly sustain spirit charges, we can make it so it's impossible to release souls. There is a whole paragraph on PoE Wiki explaining every option to do so, but in my case I socket Frost Mage into my helmet, give Spirit Burst based mana cost, and then make sure that that mana cost is higher than the amount of unreserved mana. All these core items leave us without the conventional 6-link on weapon and chest, and even the multi-link helmet is not an option. This leaves us with multi-link gloves. If you look at the modifiers, you'll notice that the best skills to use with gloves are projectile skills. If you'd like to forgo that part, you can just run any melee skill of your choice. In my case, I'm going for projectile related stuff, and that leaves us with not that many options, since we're running an axe. There is Lightning Strike, Lightning Strike of Arcane, Split and Seal, which is okay for clear, but misses out on single target potential after the latest nerf in 3.26. The projectiles cannot return. Also, Strike of the Zenith is fine if you hate anything that has solid clear. And then Spectral Furrow, Spectral Helix if you're a Psycho. I ended up playing Lightning Strike of Arcane as a Deadeye. Deadeye helps a lot to cover up for skill's downside. At the baseline we fire only 1 projectile, with multi-shot and endless munitions that number goes up to 4, and Dying Sun is up pretty much all the time while mapping, bumping it to comfortable 6 projectiles. Ricochet makes Lightning Strike a lot more comfortable in tight layouts, making it easier to reach most with Volt Chain. Focal Point and Gathering Wing are Deadeye staples. Since our weapon doesn't have much baseline damage, we need to get it through other means. We are well positioned to be a life stacker build, and because of this, Bloodthirst becomes incredibly powerful. Defiance of Destiny plus Petrified Blood make it impossible to die to a barrage of small and medium hits. We are low life all the time during mapping, and with that comes permanent leech and the bonuses associated with it, such as Feed the Fury damage and attack speed while leeching. There are a lot of Abyss jewels, 21 to be exact. Thanks to the league mechanic, crossing these is a lot more manageable than before. We need 6 rare Searching Eye jewels socketed into the axe. The only useful prefix is life. There are many useful suffixes such as attack speed, crit multi, occasional resistance, flat damage, crit chance and so on. I'd suggest for one of them to have chance to gain phasing on kill for smooth mapping. The other jewels socketed in your equipment should be rare Murderous Eye jewels because you can roll flat damage with axes. You need 5 Murderous Eye jewels in total for the full effect of Tactress Gaze. Abyss jewels on the passive tree are magic and get multiplied effect with Torrent. Prefix is live on all of them, and I went for crit multi on suffixes. There isn't much to do with implicits after the removal of synth implicits. There are things like increased damage or crit chance, but they are not very impactful to chase. Alright, quick item overview. So the weapon is Spinesnatch. The only role you care about is the increased attack speed per socketed Searching Eye jewels, and then you can enchant it with highest tempering orbs to increase the explicit effect of speed modifiers. If you really want to be fancy, then you can also Volatile Orb on top of it, but it's pretty hard to hit because you have to perfectly divine and then hit the multiplier. But good luck. Next up, Shroud of the Lightless. I initially went with a solid implicit instead of mana, but later on what you want to do is Volatile Orb your Shroud for extra life and pen. This leaves me with 21% extra max life, so like 700 flat, and 21 ally pen. Very, very good. Light Poacher, not much about it, just get 1 or 2 sockets and useful implicit. Defiance of Destiny makes us pretty much immoral against small hits. Not much to say about this one. I anointed it with Tenacity for extra life and damage. This is a mapping blaster, so Handhunter instead of Mageblood. I tried Mageblood initially, but there isn't really any need in it. I'll talk about the ring once I will talk about the gems. The gloves, very important slot. The way I made this is I Awakener Orb the Shaper+Elder. I use Answers of Horror for crit chance until I rolled either faster attacks or crit multi or attacks. And then I Reforge for the other one. And then it's just block Suffixes Reforge Speed because Faster Proj is the only modifier, and then exalt into Slower Proj. Again, if you are not gonna play a projectile related build, then the prefixes are not important for you. And you can just go with like Elder Gloves. The rest of the gear, boots, you fix your Chaos Res and Intelligence, get some light movement speed, the usual stuff. Ring, the same deal. I get my 1 recoup roll here. Now about the gems. So because I'm running so many Abyssal jewels, it leaves us with not that many gems to use. And before you ask, yeah, it's very useful. If I remove 1 jewel socket, you can see that I'm losing almost 300 life, and 1 Abyss jewel is about 13% more damage. So it's not really negotiable. So in terms of gems, Frost Mage. Socket it into Life Poacher to give you a Spirit Burst base mana cost. This is how we make sure that it's impossible to release souls. Free-Link Sniper's Mark with Life Tab and Mark on Hit, very powerful. With all of the mark effect I'm getting on the tree and Deadeye, we end up with false splits and then a lot of increased damage taken from projectiles. The reservation skills are Purity of Elements, Petrified Blood, and Precision. Precision is how you manipulate your mana to make sure you have higher Spirit Burst mana cost than your unreserved mana. And then the rest of the gems are Blood Rage and Leap Slam, very useful utility, frenzy charges while mapping, and your movement skill. That's why I'm running an Unset Ring, because it's literally impossible to fit everything otherwise. And now Lightning Strike of Arcane, there's quite a bit to talk about. So Greater Multi is non-negotiable, is insane, but the rest of the gems kind of depend on the content you're running. Bloodthirst is also mandatory, but you can get it either as a support or as a ring modifier. You don't get that much from extra level and extra quality, but it's still nice. And Life Tab is also non-negotiable, because otherwise fixing your mana is very annoying with that many support gems. And then you're left with options. So if you're doing the content that asks for more single target damage, like I was doing Propagation Abyss, then you go for a damage ring. The best damage support is a Trinity, and in that case it doesn't matter whether Trinity is on your ring or as your support, for example, instead of Bloodthirst, because you can just socket in Bloodthirst instead. But this is what I had for most of the time I was playing the build. I divided myself and got pretty lucky. What you should expect is something like this, like single mod ring. Getting 2 mods is effectively impossible. If you're running content that's requiring you to have insane clear, say, I don't know, Eternal Conflict Legion, then you would run Greater Chain as your support, and then you have to get either Bloodthirst or Life Tap on your ring, and there you go. And the passive tree. Not much to talk about it here. One of the cluster jewels has Bloodsand for rage generation, the rest have Martial Prowess and Feed the Fury. Every Abyssal jewel is magic. I have Adorned, I have Watcher's Eye with Chaos Res and 1 damage mod from Precision, Lethal Pride in your usual ranger spot. I tattooed most of the points with Mark Effect, 10 to be exact, until I can get 40% Mark Effect to counteract Mark on Hit downside, and together with Focal Point you can get 100% Mark Effect. The rest of the points went for Projectile Speed. And I'm running 1 Runegraph of the Jeweler. All of these Abyssal sockets count for the Runegraph of the Jeweler, but obviously they are not linked, so you're just getting 60% increased damage. And yeah, that's it for the build. Pretty solid blaster, had a great time tinkering with it and figuring it out, and yeah, it did not disappoint. Thanks for watching and have a good one.